Hi, I'm Paul Peebles with Old Capital Lending. We are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area with two multifamily investors and operators. These guys I've known over 10 years. They're competent guys, so I want you to meet Sapient Capital with Alan Stewart and Jack Langenberg. Guys, thanks for being on the show.
Great to be here.
So,
thanks, man.
Alan, tell me a little bit about you that people can relate to.
Thanks, Paul. Well, hey, I grew up right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so I'm a native Texan. I went to Texas A&M University and graduated magna cum laude in engineering. Right from there, I went to Accenture, and there I was basically leading very large projects for Fortune 500 clients, either helping them increase revenue, reduce costs, or reduce risk. After my corporate career, I've really spent a decade in multifamily, which has just been an amazing experience, and I love doing it full time. I have run and invested in over 3,400 units across 17 properties, and several of those have now gone full life cycle.
That's great. Jack, tell me a little bit about you.
I graduated from the University of Notre Dame and launched my career in public accounting at Price Waterhouse, and then spent several years in different corporate roles in finance and operations. Went back to get my MBA at Harvard Business School. And when I came out, I started my corporate executive career as Chief Financial Officer and then Chief Operating Officer of several large companies, building large teams and helping companies navigate through all types of scenarios. But my favorite role ever was head of global mergers and acquisitions. So with that type of a role, I got to travel around the world and buy companies.
Sure.
So there's some interesting parallels with that type of a role in multifamily. To find assets, value them, negotiate deals, and then once we buy the property or buy the company to operate it and integrate it into a larger organization.
Sure.
So anyway, I started investing in multifamily over 10 years ago. And in fact, our first deal was together, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, like over 10 years ago, we invested together. So we've known each other quite a long time. But anyway, so I'm in probably 18 properties that have about 4,000 units across them. Yeah.
So Alan and Jack have brought their two successful companies together to form Sapient Capital. Guys, I've never heard the word sapient. What the heck does sapient mean?
Well, Paul, it's a great question. So, as Jack mentioned, we've been working together on the investment side for over 10 years. And really, when you think about our corporate background, we've got the battle scars to prove, we've really learned, through experience. And as we were looking at, how do we name the company, that's really what Sapient means, is you've gained knowledge and wisdom through experience. And so that's where we came up with the name Sapient Capital Group.
Makes sense. All right. So you guys invest in multifamily properties. There's office, there's retail, there's warehouses, but you guys focus in on multifamily housing. Tell me, is there still a good time to invest as investors into multifamily housing?
Absolutely. My first job out of business school was helping to manage $20 billion of pension assets, and that was almost 30 years ago.
Wow.
And they were investing in apartment complexes then, and people are still investing in them today. And it's because it's a universal need. People need a place to live.
Right.
And people need a place to live, especially in Texas, because we have so many people moving here.
Guys, why multifamily?
Sure. Well, the first reason I like multifamily is because of wealth preservation. Warren Buffett famously said about investing, rule number 1, don't lose your money. Rule number 2, refer to rule number 1. So if you get a high quality asset that generates income, you're definitely getting to the wealth preservation mode there. But I also like it because of wealth creation.
Yeah, absolutely. So Robert Kiyosaki, of course, said, instead of trading time for money, invest your money in assets that produce cash flow. Well, that is exactly what multifamily is. We charge rents for it, we have expenses, and then in we have leftover cash flow, which we distribute to our partners. And in terms of wealth building, multifamily assets are valued as businesses. And so as we're able to increase the income on the properties, it increases the value of the business. And that helps us build our wealth.
Yeah, I also like multifamily because of the risk-adjusted return. It's like, well, what does that mean? Let's look what the smart money does. The academic institutions, universities like Yale, Harvard, Princeton, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, those 5 institutions are of the top 10 in terms of endowment sizes, right?
Wow.
So they hire teams of people that pay a lot of attention to what type of assets they're investing in. Guess what? They invest in real estate, and a component of that is, of course, multifamily, right? So, when I was finishing up school, I was on a team that managed pension assets, $20 billion worth of pension assets, and they invested in real estate. And I thought at the time that wasn't really available to me. In fact, the financial advisor that I had said, invest 60-40 equities versus fixed income.
Sure.
Well, I did learn about multifamily and got investing in that. But if you compare the difference in the outcomes of those two different investing strategies, one with multifamily or real estate and one without, the academic institutions could turn over a 20-year time horizon $10,000 into over $50,000. The 60-40 split over that same timeline, $10,000 becomes $23,000.
Boy, that is quite a difference. And so do you guys buy A quality, B quality? What kind of assets do you guys buy?
Well, great question, Paul. So, I cut my teeth in B and C assets, but this is a perfect example. This beautiful property we're outside. This is a little less than 200 units, built in 2016, podium-style construction, right here in Uptown Dallas. So it's a fantastic asset in a fantastic area. And when we think about what we're going to buy going forward, this is exactly what we're going to buy. High quality assets in high quality areas that people want to look at, as well as we and our investors can look at these things and say, hey, I am proud to be owning that asset.
That's it. If people want to get more information about you guys and how to invest with you guys, what's the best way to do it?
Sure, the easiest way is just sending us a quick email at info@sapientcg.com.
That's great. Again, Alan Stewart, Jack Langenberg with Sapient. I'm Paul Peebles. Have a great day.